Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Chasing Past Golf podcast. Where in this episode, I'm joined by Fernanda Lira, who is currently on the LET tour. You're currently back in Mexico, Fernanda, and today you just got good news that for next week you'll be a sponsor's invite into your home event on the LPGA tour for the Mexico Maya Riviera, I think it is. I think that's the name anyway. But yes, so you're playing on the LPGA tour next week. How excited about that are you?
I'm very excited. It's my first event, so I'm happy to do like a home debut. Yeah, so it's called Riviera Maya Open at Mayaková, which is cool because I've played there a couple of times over the years, and obviously we've watched. I think last year it was Live Golf, but before that, the FedEx Cup takes place there, so it's cool.
Yeah, I remember watching it for a few years briefly when it was on the PGA tour. I believe Carlos Ortiz won there as well, obviously a Mexican player. So yeah, you never know. A Mexicans won at Mayakoba before, so it could be a good omen. So you're back home in Mexico City just now. How's the preparation been? Because I believe your last event was on the Lacoste tour in Portugal. How did that go, and how did you enjoy Portugal as a whole?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful country. I would definitely love to be back. I enjoyed playing on the lead pass. It was my first event, so I like it was a good course. It had good conditions. The practice facilities were good, so I think overall it was. I had a positive experience with them. They were very helpful. Like I had a couple of questions and requests, and they were able to help me out. So, very very helpful. And I think it just comes down to being, their the development tour to the LET. And last year when I played the full LET schedule, they were the same. They were very helpful with any question you had or anything you needed. They were like hands on it, so it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna be here until, well, I was planning on playing the Monday qualifier. So when I got the news of I getting the sponsors invite, it was actually like really good news because then that means I am traveling tomorrow to Cancun till the 15th because I was gonna go prep for that Monday. So I just thought keep my own flight, and I've got everything already over there. So I'll go practice in a different course, which is quite close to Mayaková, and just to have the same conditions. And then Mexico City is quite high. I think it's like 2,400 meters above sea level. So and we have bent that. So I'm gonna go over to want to get a little bit of that Bermuda, like the difference in like having grain on the greens and grainy chips and all that. So I kind of wanna. I'm excited to go over there and practice and getting my prep done for the event next week.
Yeah, so you alluded to that you've played Mayakoba in the past a couple of times, maybe a few times. What can we expect from Mayakoba as a course, especially like from the ladies' side? Obviously distance wise, in terms of the total yardage, like obviously it's a lot shorter than what was played at PGA Tour. But do you still expect a tough test at Mayakoba?
I believe so. I think it's a course that tests you because of the environment more than anything. I think on previous years, and on TV, you can see that it's like a course that it's pretty like it has what they're called manglares, which I'm not. It's like a bit of like a little jungles that they have in between the holes, and so that kind of funnels you a little bit, so you can't really feel the wind. Well, obviously the wind's up there, so it's something that you like in some holes, it might feel different than where the actual wind is. So I think it's something that tests you through the environment. And obviously, the course is like they're going to have them in great conditions. The layout's great. So I think on that side, through the yardages, they can make it really challenging and conditions.
So, as a proud Mexican, like how prestigious is the Mexican Open, like for like yourselves, Gabby Lopez, and well, I presume Isabella Fierro might get a spot to play as well. Like, how prestigious is your home country event?
Well, I think it is very high up there because, it's been 8 years, I believe, since there have been an LPGA event in Mexico. There's going to be five Mexicans, which is a history record. There's never been that many professional or Mexican players playing on an event. We have one amateur, which her name's Clarissa Tonello. She plays for University of Arkansas. And then you'll have May, Maria Balcazar, Isa Fierro, Maria Fassi, and Gabby Lopez. So there's going to be, quite some players. This is the most players that an LPGA event Mexican players have had in history. And, the last time that Lorena actually, like, when she retired after winning in Morelia, which is, pretty close to her home state. So I think we've got, like, everyone's very excited to have the LPGA back again on Mexico, and we hope that it continues for a couple more years.
I find it interesting there that you alluded to, obviously, former world number one and multi-time major champion Lorena Ochoa. Like, growing up in Mexico, like as a golfer, like in the amateur ranks, junior ranks, like seeing Lorena doing so well, I take it she was like an inspirational role model as such, like for what it takes to be an elite player from Mexico.
Yeah, I believe not only for me, but like for Gabby, for all the players that have been professional and now they're not. I think she has always been that inspiration and like that, like a little bit of like that half opening kind of showing us that it can be done. Like, she was very, very successful during her like really short career. And I am fortunate enough I am from Mexico City, and the golf club is called Club de Golf Mexico. So I grew up here playing golf, and this is the same home course as Gabby Lopez and Ale Llaneza, who both represent, well, Gabby obviously represents us on the LPGA, and she's been, multiple times to the Olympics, but Ale Llaneza is a little bit older than Gabby, and she was also representing Mexico at Rio, the first, Olympics. So it's really cool. I grew up with having, like Gabby and I are really close friends, and I've grown closer to Alan now that, we've started to, when I came pro, we started to see each other a lot more on like events and like through an organization. So we were able to kind of like connect more. But I've been very fortunate to grow up against, well, not against, but like with these great players and, playing in the same concourse and, seeing them practice and seeing them develop every day. I think it has helped me become, the player that I am today.
Do you think that we will see another world number one Mexican player?
I surely, yes, agree that we will. I don't know when, but I think there's still a lot of, well, not only now, currently, we got, the players that I mentioned previously, but we've got, Clarissa and a couple more that are coming from, being amateurs in like, and having like very solid careers on college. So, and as we've seen in, this year with Ingrid, the Swedish girl, she has, proven that like coming out of college and even with a year at Epson, I mean, they are very prepared and they are better players. So I believe that in the future we will see, eventually one of us will get there.
I think definitely, like in terms of, it might take a little bit of time, but definitely would be great to see another super upcoming Mexican talent, doing well and hopefully challenging for like the top 10 in the world and stuff. Like, I do think it'll take time, personally, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think off right now, I think Gabby's getting really, I mean, she's having a really solid start of year. So I'm excited for her and what's coming. I think she's on 29 of the CME points. I haven't really seen what her ranking is last time, but I mean, she's inside or she was inside the top 50. So I think with the, having a solid season, this could be a year which she gets into that at least top 10.
So, your only LET appearance this season was at the South African Women's Open. What was that experience like? Obviously, you in 2024 was your rookie season on the LET. Like first of all, how do you enjoy the Ladies European Tour?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I had a horrendous year golf year, but it was amazing. That's why I feel like I was very happy to, be back and trying to get better and play better to be able to get into where I believe I belong in that tour. And I'm excited to have the opportunity to get better right now. And, I'll get where I have to be whenever have to just be patient and, just play golf and the rest will take care of itself.
Yes, so like just speaking about South Africa, like I know that's your only LET event so far this
Yes.
season, but like I take it it's a place that you love still.
I do love South Africa, to be fair. I mean, honestly, I think I told my husband Ryan, I was like, next year, I think I'm coming from like for the full sunshine season, just because I mean, I think it's like a great start, a great warm up for the year. It's once you get there, it's actually like quite cheap for living. And, I've met so many people in Cape Town and in Joburg that I feel like I am. It kind of feels like the little Mexico away from Mexico in a weird way, and so I really, really enjoy it. I am looking forward to going back next year, and I believe I'll be playing the full Sunshine uh, season. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not sure, but it starts I think in February, so I think it's a great start. You have, then you obviously get into the two LET events, and then you get points. The purses are getting better. They're trying to get more points to get on the road ranking. So I just think it's getting, it's developing as a new tour, and because I love the country, it just makes sense for me to go over there.
I'm going to use a brief example from someone that's kind of, thrived from the Sunshine Ladies Tour, like playing them 8 events, like just before like the LET kind of plays them. So Moa Falca, she won the Dimension Data Pro-Am in 2023, then and on the Ladies European Tour, like further on in the season, she had a second and a tied second. So maybe she can take inspiration from that. Like, you never know. You may have your own chances. Like, maybe see next season of being in
Yeah.
contention.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, you also have Cass. I mean,
Yeah,
she is
Cass.
from Joburg, but she played really solid last year. She played really solid this year on Sunshine and on the LET events. And she had that top 10 on the British Open. So I think it's just that tour is cultivating better players, and I think it's just a great opportunity to go play. And they played really good courses. I mean, I only played two of the whole like Sunshine. Well, two not counting. I already played Mother Fontaine and then Vale. So, but two new courses, and they were really good. They're in great conditions. Weather was great. So it's. I mean, I have nothing but flowers for that tour.
And actually, another one as of late, recently that's kind of thrived. She won in one of the South Africa events. Then on the Lectas in Morocco, Talia Martin as well,
Yeah.
the English player. So it can be a good stepping stone, for like the weeks and the months to come to be in contention, and you never know, maybe even win a tournament. So it seems like a good stepping block as such.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, I think it is. I mean, it is a mini tour, but it's great. But you are able to play, in the same country, cheap to travel around, which is something that as a professional golfer, you always. I mean, that's something that makes you think if you don't have to, spend that much, like you can keep expenses as small as possible, and uh, you get experience and everything. So I'm excited for that. Really like South Africa. I mean, to be fair, I really enjoyed the whole LET. I think I just underestimated how much traveling affected, like long traveling and long haul flights affected, my recovery and all that, because that was my first time doing all that. I think I believe that I was ready because I played on Epson for 3 years, but I feel like it is different having to change time zones, having to change, diets, having to change uh, like the entire environment instead of, I mean, I know you change from state and it can vary, but I don't think it's that big. I always would come back to Mexico because it was always quite close, like anywhere between 2 to 5 hour flight. So last year I worked with somebody with my swing over in Mexico City, and this off season has been my first time that I've moved over to somebody in Europe. So I am also excited to, like spend my weeks off or being able to see them when I travel to the tournaments and getting a little bit of a different perspective on training and just overall golf.
So out of the events that you played in 2024 on the LET, is there any particular one, maybe two, that stand out? I mean, you did have a tied 22nd in Ireland, you had a tied 32nd in France, you had a tied 51, tied 51st in the LACEA, which is a very big tournament as well. I think that's the biggest purse that they have on the Ladies European Tour, out with the Aramco, and tied 33rd at the Amundi German Masters. So is there anyone that really sticks out?
I really, really enjoyed playing the Irish because of, I mean, the amount of people that came out to watch. I mean, I think I was playing, can't remember if I was like two in front and two behind of Leona. So obviously the crowds were watching her, and it was amazing to see. I mean, you did obviously get people following, you and stuff, but obviously the most of the country was there to support Leona. And so it was really cool. I think the course was in great conditions, and that was my first time in Ireland. So it wasn't my first time in a lot of countries last year in Europe. So it was, I really enjoy it. And then LaCeia, I think it was another course that's amazing. I mean, I think the fact that they put a big purse, like the course is great. Conditions were great. You were able to stay on site. They help us out with that really good rate and stuff like that. So I just believe like it is a great opportunity to just kind of like be there and like focus on your golf. I did like playing on France. I think that course really suit me. I know the weather was quite like it rained a lot. It was cold, but I mean the course was really good too. I think in overall most of the tournaments are really good, but I think my favorite ones were definitely the Irish and Vasea, just because of like the overall setup, player lounge, like just like the little things were there too, apart from the golf and like everything that.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Ireland, obviously they're so passionate about the game as well. They, I think it was, yeah, like I keep alluding back to Moa, but I think it was Moa that says that she really, really enjoys the Irish fans, and that the Irish fans were some of the best that you'll see out there, I think.
Yes. Well, I don't know if she was her, but I agree. Like it was really cool. It was one of like the biggest turnout. Well, it was the biggest turnout for the entire season that I didn't play on the British and the Scottish, so I wouldn't be able to tell about those or the Evian. But for, the what a full card without last year kind of would get you, that was the biggest turnout, and it was like good for service.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair play. Um, so you've actually, so you've actually got a sponsors invite into the Tenerife Open as well. How much are you looking forward to going to Tenerife? And just like looking at the course and stuff, visually it looks unbelievable. Like Alabama Golf, it looks superb.
Yes, unbelievable. I'm so excited. I love playing on like kind of like beach courses. So um I really enjoy it. I like playing on the heat. I like playing in Bermuda grass. I mean, the bunkers looked amazing. I'm really looking forward to going to Tenerife. I know it's like I've never been. My husband's parents go a lot, and so they absolutely love it. I think they'll go like once a year. So
Mhm.
I'm really, really excited to, like get to see all the places that where they go to vacation and, be able to just experience it all. And I'm really happy because one of my aunt lives in Madrid and she's gonna come over to see me a couple of days in Avila. Like she's gonna just drive over. But she's actually coming to Tenerife for like the event. So I'm excited that she's gonna be there. She's not a golfer and she's never seen me play golf apart from when I was like a kid. So I think it's gonna be really, really, really fun to have her there.
I mean, yeah, it's always great to have like that support like from people that don't even watch the game and stuff as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can only imagine that's a good thing.
Yes.
Maybe be the the good luck charm as such as well. Like that
Yes.
sometimes happens. So
Yes. It's funny because sometimes like I feel like they don't realize maybe how hard, or maybe they do the opposite and they'll realize actually how hard it is. So I think it could go both ways. Like people are be like, well, why would you hit it on that side? And you're like, well, we weren't trying. And or they could be like, oh my God, you were hitting it so good. And the other players, you know what I mean? Like they have this like not perception of golf. So I think it's
yeah.
funny when they're talking about with non-golfers and when they want to play golf and watch professionals, like how they interpret the whole rounds.
So just taking it back from a personal standpoint. So you were born in Mexico City. Um, what was that? What was that like? Obviously, the capital city of Mexico. Like, like as a native of Mexico City, what was that like growing up?
I think it's just like you get used to like the noise, the pollution, the traffic. It's just something it becomes normal. So when I went to college, it was a big contrast because I went to University of Central Arkansas. It's like a tiny, tiny town, 30 minutes. Well, I said tiny, but I don't know if it's a town or not. But for me, it would be a town outside Little Rock. And I think, I mean, it has developed over the years. But when I went there, when it was primarily like a college town, so it was I really really enjoyed it, but I liked saying like the contrast. And growing up I was very fortunate that my parents live inside kind of like a golf course, so for me it's very easy to just now come back from school and just walk to the golf course and just spend like the afternoon there and then have my classes. And there was like there's like a weekly they have on the golf course, they have like a juniors clinic that goes every day from 4 to 6. So that's what I would do. And they still have it today. So that's why I would go and train, and there'll be other girls and other boys, and we would practice and they would take us on the golf course. So that's kind of how I really enjoy going and practicing with my friends and playing tournaments and, you know, traveling. I was very fortunate that my parents actually, made the effort to help me develop my sport.
So just slightly off topic. I don't know if you can see that in the background, but you see that right there. Not no. Literally face me. Sorry, you see that shining light?
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah.
sun. That's sun. It's sun in Scotland.
At the first. Although I did see a couple of videos of Laura, and she's practicing Laura Beveridge, and she's practicing. She was like sunny in Aberdeen or something like that, and I was like, oh, it's great weather now.
Sunny in Aberdeen. It's never sunny in Aberdeen. It's always grey and miserable in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And so I believe you started playing the game of golf due to Mario Golf. Is that right? Like,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
So when I was a kid, my brother and I used to love, I still like video games. But when I was a kid, I really liked them, even though we liked sports. So whenever, Mario Tennis came out, even though we didn't do tennis, they put us onto like the now famous paddle. So we played paddle for, as kids because Mario was doing it. And then at some point, Mario Kart came out on the Nintendo 64, and we wanted to go and drive karts, like, go karts. So my mom would take us, and, we would go into classes of how to. I mean, we were like 10 and 11, but we would still like to go and do it. And so eventually Mario Golf came out, I think when I was around 8 or 7. And we were like, perfect. Now we want to go to golf. And my mom was like, I have no idea what that is. And we're like, well, you play ball around. So she would take us to putt putt every day. And the guy that owned the putt putt was like, you guys come every day. You can go to a range. And my mom was like, what is that? So they referred us to this range that was like maybe 10 minutes from the putt putt. And so we started taking golf lessons. And then eventually my mom learned, and eventually my dad learned or started learning. And he got invited to play like a tournament or a scramble. And he was like, I don't know how to play. And they were like, oh, it's your have fun. Like, it's just a social thing. And obviously, golf is very social in Mexico. You play with music and there's, like a bar cart, and it's not very serious. I mean, I feel like the contrast between amateur golf, when I've seen it even with my husband, at his hometown, is very different than what I've experienced my whole life. I can hear some people don't even keep score. Maybe they'll just play 9 holes or 6 holes or whatever they have time for, and then they'll leave. Everybody plays in a cart, so it's very, very different. And so he got invited. He loved it. And so then we became, my dad became a member at like a golf club. So in Mexico, the golf clubs are different also from the rest. It's like a sports center, a restaurant, meets the golf club. So like the golf course is like a part of an amenity that it has, but there's, at my home course, there's a pool, there's a restaurant, there's a ladies' locker room that has like a beauty salon that has, like a little cafeteria inside. In the men's locker room, there's also, like the place where you can get your hair cut. There's a bar. I think there's a place where you can get a massage on the ladies. I don't know. I think in both ladies and men, there's like a massage, like you can book a massage. There's, games for little kids, tennis court, paddle courts, a little soccer, like pitch, not like a full one, like maybe like a quarter of a soccer pitch, just like a little one. And so people in Mexico, when you join one, it's basically like where you spend most of your time. So whenever you finish school, you probably drive over. That's what we would do. We would drive over here, and then we would spend like the whole afternoon, and weekends you spend them home here. So there's like a kids locker room. And so it's it's just like a little community where you would stay. It's like a mini city where you would just live. So I grew up, doing that and going to the pool and playing paddle, and everything was just inside the golf course. Well, the golf course, country club. I don't know what we would call it. And so, yeah, my dad became a member, and then we started coming, and that's kind of how it went.
So obviously, when you play for the first time, usually it takes a certain amount of time. Like, was that the same for you as well? Like obviously straight away you said have it, but like, how did it all start for you? Like in terms of like, were you able to hit a fair distance like after a few goes?
Well, so I started when I was like 7. So I have a couple of videos of playing golf, and I remember, playing golf and hitting some shots. And I remember we used to go on vacation to Acapulco, and there's this hole that in Tresvita is called the golf course. And it's like an island green. It's a par 5. And I would tee up. I would start basically right in front of the water, and I would hit driver trying to get it onto the green. And that was like the biggest challenge. And it's only maybe like 80 yards to the green, like in between. But like for me, as a 7-year-old, I have videos of me, and it's like you can see I hit, and then it thought you can tell I didn't get it to the other side. So I have videos of putting and stuff like that. So I don't really like I think as I grew up, I don't really remember how good I guess I was, or if I was able to like hit it or not. But I remember kind of like that, trying to hit over that water. And then there's a short course that's here in this home course. And I remember I really wanted to get a hole in one on green number 6, which was like a tiny 40-yard par 3. And so I remember every time that I got there, I was like, well, I want my hole in ones. And I don't really remember like the whole thing now. I just remember a little bit of starting to play golf.
So as you alluded to just a little bit earlier, you went to the University of Central Arkansas. Um, like, how did that kind of decision come about? Obviously, like so in terms of like the education in Mexico compared to like the education like say in the United States, like is it a big difference at all?
I think so. I think in Mexico there's a lot of private schools. Um, and so my school, they're usually all religious, but my school was not religious. And actually my school was under the system, like even though like it ticked the boxes for the Mexico education, it was more oriented into like trying to get into an Ivy League school or going to Cambridge. So my school was called the Lancaster School. So it was founded by an English guy from Lancaster, and he wanted to. So I did like the whole mocks and I do CSEs and all that stuff, even though I knew I wasn't really going to use it. But they also prepared us for the SAT, which is what you need in the US. And so it kind of really helped that my whole education was done in English. Because when I went over, so the only subject that I had in Spanish was Spanish. But I took French, and we took French in English. We took math, chemistry, physics. Everything was in English. So when I transitioned into the States, it wasn't really a big difference for me. I did feel that a lot of the things that my first year over there, I felt like I had covered them already. And I noticed that was kind of like a trend overall for people that were outside from the US. Like a lot of people would come in and be like, we've seen this, algebra 1 and 2 and chemistry and biology. We've seen all these already. So that it really helped because there were subjects that you already knew. And, it was easier to kind of like do the homework and do the classes and be able to like practice and play for more time.
And so, I don't mean to sound, kind of like too corny right now, but like in terms of yourself and your now husband Ryan, how did you kind of, like how did you meet? Like I believe it was at the same, University of Central Arkansas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to embarrass you here. I promise, but I'm just interested. That's all.
So he played for the men's. But it was quite funny because when I went on my like visit or official visit to the university, we went out for like this meal, and like we stayed after to like talk, and I met like the whole men's team and the whole women's team at the point, and there were a lot of like Scottish and English people, and obviously I could not understand the word, but I remember he was trying to talk to me. And I remember I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I remember going to the bathroom and thinking, I have to like wait for a little, because when I come out, I need to find another spot to sit, because I cannot sit next to him because he keeps asking me questions. And I've said like, 1,600 times. So he's going to think I can't speak English. I was so embarrassed that I tried to swap places with somebody else. So he didn't have to talk to me anymore, and I could talk to like the Swedish or somebody that I could understand. And so that was on the official visit. So fast forward, a lot of the guys that were English and Scottish left when I arrived next year, or that semester, or the next semester. I can't really remember because a lot of them dropped out because the men's coach left. And so I remember it was me and another Mexican girl. We were going to practice. And in Mexico, we never say no. Like, that's so rude. But we will just like say yes and then never go, or say yes and just like say yes, but just, I think that's ruder, but for us, that's like nicer. So we don't want to say no. So I remember he was like, hey, we're going to have, we're going to get together. Like, we're going to go for dinner. And like, I thought maybe you guys wanted to come. And I was like, oh, yes, that'd be awesome. What time? And they were like 7. I was like, awesome, we'll be there. And I remember we got in the car, and Brenda, who was one of my best friends, she looked at me. She's like, we're going? I said, oh, hell no. But I didn't want to say no. And we're like, I just backed away. And like, we left practice. and we ended up like meeting them afterwards, and so we became really good friends. I was he always lived like on the apartment below me, so somehow that managed to like throughout the year we always ended up on the same apartments, and he would always end up like living like right under my, like it was the same apartment, same bedroom, but just like the floor below me. And so I was in every single class with his roommate who was from Denmark. So even though we were friends, I would be a lot in his apartment just because, we were doing, homework, or we were either playing like Xbox, or, and because we were so close, we would hang out a lot. And I would go a lot with, I think his name's Chris. So I would hang a lot with Chris and Ryan. And so the whole team was like a little family. So we would go a lot for dinner and stuff like that. So we were very close friends before we started. It kind of just became like a really quick friendship. And then it kind of just developed into dating. Yeah. I can't really pinpoint it, but it was just kind of like, well, we kind of like each other, so why don't we just start dating? And it's like, awesome, perfect. We're doing the same thing, and now we'll just, be dating, I guess. So
And now obviously you're married. So there you go. It goes fast, doesn't it?
10 years later, we're still together, dating.
Yeah, you go through the dating process with a wedding ring on your finger.
Yeah. So now we're still together.
So, in your time at the University of Central Arkansas, I'm led to believe that you were a freshman of the year at the UoCA. You were 3 times Southland Conference, All Conference First Team selection. You also won a couple of collegiate events in the States as well. Um, so I take it in your time at the UoCA, it was a great learning process for what was to come. Like when you do eventually turn pro.
Yeah, I agree. I think nothing really prepared you for turning pro, because you go from really only just going to practice, and like you have, your coach that helped you like analyze the stats and like what you're doing, what you're gonna practice, and somebody to guide you to, now you're just like you have to book your own stuff, you need to check where to stay, what course you're playing, what's the yardage, like it goes to a very different caliber. But I think as in like playing experience, I think it's very good to go to college, just because you get, to compete with really good players, and you get to experience, and you get help from your coach and your teammates.
So you eventually turned pro. I take it that was always going to be the case for yourself, like
Yes.
after college. And so, how would you kind of describe the first couple of years of turning pro? I believe was it 2019? If I've got it right, or was it? Yeah,
I believe it was like,
2019.
I believe I turned pro like on 2018, but I turned pro to play like just like Q school. So it was like late. It was like August. So I turned pro, played Q school, went to stage two, which was in October. And I think I only played one, I think it was a Tennessee Open before that. And then, so I only played like 3 events, counting stage one and stage two of Q school. So I did turn pro in 2018, which was the year that I graduated, but I turned pro kind of just very late.
Yes, it's always confusing. So like obviously 2020 was pretty, it was a pretty shit year. Like for
Yeah.
everything was shut down and stuff. Um, did that year in 2020, like, did that kind of, like, in terms of like confidence going forward into future events, did that take a setback as such?
I think for me personally, it would be the opposite. I think I actually went over to the beach on that time, because they didn't close the golf course over there. Um, they would just leave like carts outside, and we would clean them, and you could go play and practice. And that it was like, because there's not that many contact with. It's actually just a golf course, like, and then there's like a little clubhouse. So it was very, I guess, COVID friendly. It is a very COVID friendly, really, that place. And so I went there to live there maybe like for 5 months. And we went to live with Gabby and her now current husband. So it was me, Ryan, Gabby, and her husband, Santi, over there living. So we got to, practice and work out. And so it was really good for me to, one, kind of like reconnect with Gabby, because even though we were on the same state on university, she was like 2 years ahead of me. So when I arrived, she actually left to play pro on the LPGA. And so we really weren't able to actually like see each other. So it was a really good year just in golf wide terms, because I was able to, practice with her and like spend time with her and kind of like get, she has helped me a lot. She's always there to, like, I think she's the one that if I have a question or anything, she's the one that I would call. And she's always there to support me and help me. So I'm really grateful to have her as my friend.
So, like, just speaking about your pro career, so as a pro, you have 3 wins in total. Them includes 2 wins on the Women's All Pro Tour. Actually, believe one was in 2020, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the 2020 Crown Colony Challenge, and then in 2021 it was the Mountain Ranch Championship. But your most recognizable one was when you won by 6 shots. 6 shots. I mean, that's pretty good. You won by 6 shots at the Firekeepers Casino Hotel Championships on the Epson Tour. You won by 6-2. So Isi Gabsa, Sophia Schubert, Danielle Iacobelli, and a now certain, former world number 1 and 2-time major winner. No big deal at all, Lilia Vu.
Yeah. So that was a big win. It was really cool. That course it was funny because that week I didn't feel like I was playing that great. And we had this rain delay. I just came back from Mexico from a week over here, so I was feeling good, but I wasn't feeling like it was clicking. And the first day, I managed to like scrape away with a 2 under with 2 birdies and all pars. And I remember we finished, and Ryan was like, "I can't believe you shot 2 under." He's like, "You hit it from absolutely everywhere, scramble. Like that was an unbelievable -2." And I was like, "Yeah." Like I remember vividly making like this 15-footer on hole number, like I think it was like 13, and I like hit it from the woods into like another place like in the rough, and then I tipped it on the green. And I was like, oh, I can just 1 putt, and then that's a par. I was like so defensive, and so the next day I think that day we had a rain delay, so we had to go in, come back out, and one of the girls that I played with, her name's Nanette Hale, she's from the U.S. The next day she was like, "Hey guys, just want to let you know that my back hurts and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play the full 18. I apologize if I have to withdraw." We're like, "No worries, like whatever suits you and works for your body. Like really, I mean, you don't have to apologize, and hopefully you can play the whole round." And we set off, and you can tell she can't play. And her hole number 2, she starts like crying because you can tell it hurts like bad. And she's like, "I'm gonna call the room because I can't play." And we're like, "Okay, like I hope you get better." Like, and I remember she left like devastated from not being able to play. And there was like this like aha moment to me of like, why am I playing so defensive if I'm like healthy and I can play? And that kind of like unlocked like good golf for me, I guess. And so that was on the 11th. It was just pretty start on. And then that day I managed to shoot, I think it was a 7 under with bogey 3. And I think I prepared really good. Like my previous wins and playing on the WAPT really helped me prepare for knowing that I was close to the lead, and even though I didn't look at any leaderboard, I thought I'm going to try and focus on myself tomorrow and see, I'm trying to make birdies and see how many birdies I can make, and that's like my job. And if those winning scores -20 or -2, like I'm still trying to shoot as well as possible. And so I went out there and I remember I was making a bunch of birdies, and I remember thinking on one hole, like, it'd be pretty cool to have a trophy, and just kind of reminding myself, like, yes, it'd be pretty cool, but that's like so far ahead. Like, you still got like 7 holes to play. Like, you might as well just try and make this putt and then think about this trophy like another time. And I was like, yeah, kind of like just talking to myself a lot. And yeah, it was kind of my week. I felt like a couple of putts I remember I didn't hit like I wanted. And I remember like I would hit them and I'd be like, oh, I think I pushed that one on. And then I would look over and like it would go in. And I was like, man, this is my week. And yeah, when we finished on hole 18, I remember we're walking on, it's a little like intimidating hole because it's a par 4, quite longish. And you have a fairway bunker on the right. It's like a little bit of a dogleg right. And you can go like left, obviously, so it's going to make the hole a lot longer. And the green's quite big, but the front, probably 3/4 of the green's like, if you bounce it there, it's just going to come right off like the green. So you only really have like maybe like 15 yards in the back. And then after that, it's like a hill that will go away. But I remember I hit a really good driver. And then I hit a 8-iron. I kind of pushed it a little, but it stayed on the green. And I remember we're walking up the fairway and Ryan came up to me and he said, just, like if you're going to let's just tap, like get it for a tap in. And if you're close, just mark it. Because I think he looked at the leaderboard and he noticed that I was by the head at this point. And we had like maybe like a 30-footer that broke like maybe 2 feet. And I remember I told him like, we're not trying to tap it in that, and we're going to try and make it. And he was like, well, but if you, like if you want to just like lag it, just make sure you mark it. Because he was trying to basically tell me like, you won or you're going to win. So make sure you like mark your ball. Because we were not even the foursome of like the last foursome. The foursome was behind us. The last threesome, I guess. And I put the putt and I made it. I still have the video of it. It's quite cool. And yeah, I made the putt, and then that's how I won by 6. And I birdied the last.
So, like when that winning putt goes in, how do you celebrate such a victory afterwards?
I actually went over. We were staying at the Firekeepers. Obviously, it's a casino. So the Firekeepers Casino, we went over at the Firekeepers Casino because we were staying right in front of there. And so we went over there and we watched Abraham Anser have his win. So we knew he was really close, and I think he won in a playoff. So we went over. We knew he was close to winning. So we literally went over to that other bar to watch him finish and win. So I literally just did that. And then I journaled after that night, and then I went to bed, and that was it. And then the next day I traveled to the next event.
It sounds like a life of luxury as a professional player. Like you don't even get to celebrate your victories nowadays.
It was really cool. I do get good fun talking about it and seeing the video. It's really, really cool. I was very happy, and obviously I was very grateful that I was able to win with have a really good and like a big win with Ryan on my bag.
So just back to obviously Lilia Vu, was she just as good then as what obviously she's become, like obviously for a Formula One #1 and 2-time major champion. So she got the last point as well at the last Solheim Cup as well. So obviously big time, big match player. Was she always going to be that?
I think so. I mean, that year was the year where she lost her card. And I remember she said this in multiple interviews where she was just going to pack it in. And I think she was going to go to law school. And her mom was the one that pushed her not to. And so her mom traveled with her that whole year on Epson where she, I believe she won the, the Order of Merit and got her LPGA card back. And then that year was the year that she, I think, became world number one. I don't know if that was that year or the following year, but it was really close to that. And so I think she was always a very good player. She was, confident. And I think playing on Epson and realizing, that she had, the game to succeed not only on Epson, but on the LPGA. I think she gained confidence from playing on Epson and, kind of like, I think her mom really supported her through that. And I think that was a big part of her success. And, they also, we had a good time, in Epson whenever we saw each other. So yeah, I think she was set to succeed at some point.
And so, like, in regards to the Epson Tour, as a tour in general, when you play for the full season or whatever, like trying to, get that step up, like, how much does the Epson Tour help, like, in terms of the step up to, well, the LPGA Tour? Like, obviously, you see Lilia Vu done what she done, you see the likes of Gabby Ruffles, but there's probably another couple I can name, but like, I can't remember from the top of my head. But yeah, like Vu, Ruffles, players like that, they've obviously had some success.
Yeah, I think Epson is getting better year after year, which is not great. Uh, I think it teaches you how to travel, it teaches you, like change condition and all that stuff that I think it's like fundamental to playing on the LPGA. And yeah, I think it's like a very good development tour to the LPGA. Um, I mean, I played on it for I believe it's 2 or 3 full seasons, and I decided to go to the LET just because I wanted I wanted. It didn't. I was at a point where I didn't know if I wanted to. I don't even know if I wanted to continue playing golf because it was just not exciting for me. So for me thinking I'm gonna go to Morocco to play, it was something that was exciting for me. So I mean, I did really good at back Q school because I think I was looking forward to it. I was very, excited. And same in Kenya. I think the last day I didn't have the day that I wanted, but the first 2 days I played pretty solid, and I was very excited to go into Kenya. Like I remember in Morocco, I was thinking about Kenya already. I was thinking, I don't know if I'll have, the sponsors to actually go and play a full LET because obviously being from Mexico and obviously starting in Africa and Australia and all these parts, like it's a lot more on the plane ticket expense. And so, but I really, really, I think I'm just now back to being excited to playing on, and traveling again. And I think that's something that I kind of lost on the Epson Tour. And that's why I decided to swap to the LET. And obviously, I've heard magnificent things about the LET from all of my Spanish and Swedish friends. And so I kind of wanted to give it a go. And I'm really happy that I did.
So for those that like really aren't familiar with yourself, like how would you kind of like how would you describe your on course demeanor as such? Like, would you say you're quite patient, or would you say you're maybe a little bit fiery? I guess.
I think over the years I've become a lot more calmer. I think I want to just have fun on the golf course, and it just reminds me that it's just a game. And obviously, I want to do good. And everybody hits bad shots, and you get frustrated. But I'm working on like just. I think over the years you realize your tolerance gets a lot higher, and it teaches you that bad shots are always going to happen. And I think I really like to talk a lot on the golf course. I like to eat a lot on the golf course, and I like to have a good time on the golf course. So really, I think that's where I feel most comfortable in, more on. So yeah, I think it's I don't know. I think I'm pretty calm, just quite chatty.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because I feel like sometimes like players can be, they can be very chatty and communicative, and then all of a sudden, Like the flip of a switch and a couple of bad holes, and the mood just goes like that. And
Yeah.
go.
I
That's golf.
Yeah, and I do obviously I do have that. Once you're not playing good, you become a little bit more quiet and all that stuff. But I think it's just like that's something that I'm fine to do. Like I know when I'm not playing great, I have to go out of my way to talk to the other players, talk to my caddy, like just like try and go and do the things that I know make the play good instead of retrieving into this like silence and like it kind of like a little bit of like a black hole kind of like spiral down.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough game at the end of the day. Like, golf's always the winner. It can be a brilliant sport, and then at the same time, it can be a absolutely horrendous sport at times as well. Like, it's just the ups and downs, I'm afraid. But so, what would you say is your main, attributes? Like, so what would you say you're best at? Like in terms of your game, and what, like. And in terms of like weaknesses, like is there anything you're really working on?
I'm definitely working on with my driver. I think it's kind of a little bit of like a hit and miss. I think I've become so much better since last year, but last year that was what it hurt me the most, statistically talking. And I think one of my strengths is putting definitely and wedges. I dedicate a lot of my time to those, so I think it's a strong part of my game.
So outside the game of golf, I believe you adopted a dog called Poncho. Talk to me about Poncho.
So Poncho was a street dog from here in Mexico, and I found him on like a Instagram shelter page, and it just kind of I connected with this picture, and I just decided to adopt him actually on 2020, and so I got a lot of pictures and videos of him and me practicing in Acapulco. He just lays on the sun, and I'll just sit butts next to him, and and yeah, I mean he's a magnificent dog. I love him.
You need to show some pictures, I think.
I'll send them over.
Oh, love dogs, man. They're great. So out with golf, what sort of things do love to get up to? Like, for example, are you like one of the ones that's on? It seems to be pretty popular now, like the Hydrox series stuff and all that stuff. Like, is that something that you're into?
I am. I really enjoyed. So last year when I wasn't playing that good, came back home and I put the clubs like maybe like 2 to 3 in a coffee and I just couldn't do another, medicine ball rotation, pull cable through. I was just like, I can't, not for my sanity, I cannot do another golf workout. And so I started going to different classes in Mexico. I started going to boxing, to jiu-jitsu, to Muay Thai. I started going to spinning. And then Hyrox kind of came in. There was going to be a competition in Mexico City. And so Ryan and I just decided to sign up and managed to get 2 other people that were crazy enough to be like, hey, next Saturday, do you want to do this? And they were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And so we invited them to go to do this like relay on Hyrox. And I had a lot of fun. I've now found a gym that's like really close to my house that does like chiropractic. And I'm back on, golf workouts, not letting them off. But I've definitely fell in love with working out again. I've always liked it, but I just became too golf focused. And I think I also wanted to know that, apart from being a golfer, I am an athlete and I like running and I like swimming and I've got other goals outside of golf that I want to hit in like the future. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of working all towards it.
I said there that Hydrox seems like the new craze. I think the only few that I really see that are properly into it are, well, the main one seems to be Annabelle Fuller. The second one, Pauline Roussan-Bouchard, and Charlie Hall likes to do it as well, judging by some of the videos and stuff. So, but yeah, like they seem to be the main three. But like, it seems to me that you could get on the craze as well.
Yeah, I don't think so. I work out a lot with Annabelle when we're together, but I don't think I don't post as much about it, I guess. I kind of forget, I'm like, I'm gonna start doing this social media thing, and then I'll be like, I'm gonna video my practice tomorrow so I can post it. And I'll finish my practice and be like, I forgot to video it. And they're like, man, I'll video the putting. And I'll get on the putting, and then I'll do all my drills and everything, and then I'll finish and I'll be like, I gotta video it. And I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. So I feel like I'm not very like even though I have the decision that I'm gonna start posting and like to help me grow social media and all that stuff, and I just keep forgetting. And then sometimes I'm like, I can't be asked to do it. So I think, but I have been working out a lot with Annabelle. Obviously, she is a beast. She is amazing to work out with. And I was actually in Australia when the CrossFit Open was, and like all the workout that she has to do, and I did it with her. Obviously, I did not do the weight of the Open, but it was amazing to watch her, do her thing. It was unbelievable. I was like proper impressed. Like I finished and I called Ryan and I was like, she is unbelievable. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Pauline too. I went for a run with Pauline in Australia too. And I was like, and she was like, yeah, I'm on zone too. And I was like, and she was like, I was like, I'm trying to keep up. Like I am definitely not in zone two, but I will not be left behind. And so it is fun to find, other girls on tour and other players on tour that like the same things that you. And, I also like to read and I like to watch. I like to go to the movies, but I only like to go to the movies in Mexico. I feel like it's an experience. It's not like the movie itself. I just like, you got recliners and they serve you food and it's quite cheap. I mean, you can go and have like dinner and a meal for two people for probably like 20 pounds. So compared to the world and where I moved, obviously here in Mexico, it's, it's something like, it's like a luxury, but compared to, like in the States, it was dollars to go and sit, and then you pay another 16 to get like popcorn, and you're like, oh my God, like this is terrible. And so I think I've realized how good, fun services are in Mexico and how like, life is very cheap here, kind of like in South Africa. So that's why I feel like I relate a little to that country.
Yeah, and just briefly, how you mentioned Pauline there, it was very good effort to see Pauline Rusan-Bouchard going to the US Open as well. So
yes, she qualified yesterday in Denver, so I'm happy for her.
I mean, it's a brilliant achievement, to be honest.
Yeah, she's been doing good. I think she had struggled before. We talked a little bit about it, but I think last year, the year before that. And it's good to see her that, she's coming back and she's got this like and same as Annabelle, they've got this like energy and positive, like kind of like vibe about them that I really, really enjoy. And I think I really connect with them in that sense. So I'm happy to find more friends on tour.
Can you do the artistry work like Pauline Rusan-Bouchard though, with her marking of her balls?
I would love to. I'm not gonna lie. I like see when she marks her balls, and I was like, I would love to mark my balls like that. But on the other side, I'm thinking if I'm playing good with a ball that I marked and it has, I don't know, a dog on it, and now I have to swap it because obviously it's a little old. The one that has a dolphin on it, I don't think the suspicion, like the superstition in me would allow me to do it. I would have to have another ball with a dog on it for me to be able to, because I feel like I'm playing good with the dog. I can't catch the dolphin now. And so even though I like how she marks them, I do mark my ball with 3 lines. And then now that Ryan has not been with me, I put a little Mexican flag with a little love heart and an English flag on the other side. So it's a lot of markings, but it's how I kind of keep him with me on the course.
Nice. I've always wanted to ask Pauline the question about how did that start, and then how did you become such a perfectionist when it comes to like the artist stuff? Like,
I think it's so cool. I honestly, I would love to do it, but I think I couldn't. Like, what if, I have because I'm going to have a favorite. I'm going to do them all. And then I'm going to be like, you know what? This one with, let's say we do it now in Mayakoba. And I do one with a pumpkin. I do one with a, like a little crocodile. And then I do one with, like different things. And then I'd be like, oh, my favorite one's a crocodile. And then I couldn't not want to play with just that one. And so it'd be a problem with me. I would not be good with the favorite picking one. But I think it's really cool that she does it. And maybe in the future, if that part of me kind of decides to not look into superstition, I would be able to do it.
So a few more quick questions. So what would you say is your favorite golf course that you've played?
I did want to play Whistling Straits, but like on the tour.
No, it could be any golf course.
Because I did want to play Whistling Straits with Ryan while I was on Epson, and that was amazing. I really do like a course called Circling Raven, which is in Worley, Idaho. We play there on Epson. And then on an LET, I think the Centurion Golf Club in London. I really, really enjoyed playing that. I thought that was really cool. And one that was like very punky, and I wouldn't say like, but I really enjoyed going there was in India. That was a really nice golf. Yeah, a really nice course, really tough. Conditions were really tough. And we saw play, the Epson Tour, and I think another tour for the men played there. And it was really cool. Quirky and kind of like some on holes. But overall, I think I'm very fortunate that I have played in many, many really cool. And obviously now I'm going to play Mayakoba. So I'm looking forward to that one. And it's always a nice course to play there. So I really like that hole with the cenote. It's really nice.
So if you ever get a chance to go on vacation, are you a beach person or are you a city break person?
Beach person. So my vacation, we usually do a anniversary trip in January for our wedding. And we've been going now. So this is our second year, but so this is 2 years that we've gone, plus the year of our wedding. And then we went, so this is our fourth year going to Cancun to like in January for vacation, including, I guess, our wedding. And because we stayed there for a whole week on the wedding. And we love going to a all-inclusive with a golf course. And so we can go play golf and we can go to the beach and we can go snorkeling, and we're definitely beach people.
So in terms of stories, is there a story that you've ever heard that's maybe the best one that you've ever heard? Or is there a favourite story that maybe you've heard that is just tops the lot?
Gosh, I don't think I've had that many funny stories, but I've heard a funny story and I think I'll never get over it. So one of my friends played with Laura Davis on an event in Japan, I believe. And he was playing with another girl. I believe she was from Japan. She was a local. People were watching her. And she said that at some point in one hole, like they all hit driver's middle. And obviously, this girl and the Japanese girl, they don't hit it obviously as far as Laura Davis. So Laura Davis is like 35 yards, 40 yards past them. And they're walking down the fairway. And they see this person walk across, bend over, bend back up, walk across. And my friends, like, they just picked up Laura's ball, like 100%. Like, we just seen it. Like, she is not going to be happy. And Laura's like yelling, like trying to make them stop. That person, like there's so many fans, disappears, whatever. Call rules official, we saw a person, blah, 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 makes her drop. And I think the people, like, they were back nine. And at some point, this girl is doing like aim point and it's Laura's turn and she's doing her practicing. She plays quite fast, especially I think if she's not playing great. And so this girl's like straddling her own line. And Laura Davis like hits her putt like quite hard to try and hit this girl, like her playing ball. Like this is tournament day. It's not a practice round. And she just whacks this ball trying to hit this girl. And the girl kind of like jumps over. And Laura Davis looks over and she's like, it's my turn to hit. You shouldn't be close to the hole because I could hit you. And my friend's like frozen. She is like, I remember she told like her caddy, like, we are not breathing. Once she hits, like, she was so intimidated and so scared of her. And I cannot fathom somebody that would be in the middle of a tournament. I would rather try and, because obviously now she has to go put it from like off the green or wherever her ball finished, and like 2 putts from there and make like a bogey or whatever. And but I cannot imagine that like being like, I would have loved to be in like a fly in that scenario where like, you know, she's having a rough day. They already stole her ball and like all these stuff. I think, oh my God, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And I was like, I can't believe she actually hit her ball trying to hit, you know, the other player just to get her of her visual of the. So I think that's a brilliant story.
I wonder if Dame Laura Davis will ever listen to this, but probably not. But I'm sure she does. Sounds like an interesting story.
I don't know if she'll remember. Oh no, I hope I will. You never know if she'll remember it. But oh my God, I can't believe that. I think it's absolutely gold.
And so, how many hole in ones have you had in your career as well?
I've had 6. So
6. Wow.
yeah. So I've had only 2 in my competition, and the rest has been like practice rounds and playing with friends.
So Fernanda, good luck next week back in your home country event of Mexico, and good luck in Madrid, and then obviously Tenerife, and maybe see you there. We'll see you. Right, Fernanda, all the best, and I'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.